All right, hey guys, this is ZMH Tech here. Now, we just did a Blender um, tutorial basically on how to bake the textures in Blender. So we're gonna focus on the next part, which is how do I get those baked textures into Unity. Um, so now remember, this is what basically we'll delete the two-part one, or actually we'll delete the first one since that's the one I didn't make on the tutorial. So basically, they look like just a kind of compiled mess, kind of. If you've ever bought textures off of websites, sometimes they'll come baked like that, just because it's very easy to add them in Unity. And if you've ever wondered how they do that, basically watch the very first part of this video, or the very first part, of this video. So basically, now we're going to focus on how do you get them in Unity. So basically, how do I get this, whatever I have in Blender, when I render it, it looks like this. How do I get this to look exactly like that in here? Or as close to it as you can. So basically, we're going to export the objects first. So I guess we can delete this one. Okay, so we're just gonna do the we'll just do the one that's combined. Um, so now what we're gonna do is uh, obviously if you're just doing the cube by itself, it's a little bit easier. So that's why I'm gonna do both of these. So basically, what you want to do is you just basically to export your object. If it wasn't first, what you want to do is if you're using that baked texture, which we are, you're going to want to remove all the materials off of your object. Now remember, this is the original object from the first tutorial. So this had the procedural table and the procedural cube, the plastic cube. You want just one material. That's it, because that's all we have right here is one material. So you want one material. Because remember, when we baked it, we compressed them and put them all into one image texture. So that's all we wanted is one material. So basically, now that we got that, we don't really need anything else in here. So like the camera, the plane, we can just start deleting everything. Okay, so usually I leave these two, but we just have our single thing. Okay, so now we're going to go export. Now, you could do whatever. Most people will do the wavefront object, the FBX, or the Collada. Collada is relatively new. So basically, this is how I did it for Large Dog VR Studio when I was creating the baseball game and other the animations, the high dive animations and all that. Basically, if it was an animation, I was exporting it as an FBX because Wavefront doesn't have the ability, the dot object, it can't hold animations, so that's out. And then Collada can. Collada's supposed to be the best, kind of, but it wasn't really working so great with the animations, and some other people have said that too. The FBX is the best for animations. So if it's an animation, just use FBX. If it's an object like this, static, you really got your pick between either one of them. I've just been using Collada, so that's what we're gonna do here. So we're gonna make this. We're gonna export it. And then now what we're going to do, oh, and then, this isn't really an exporting tutorial, but I guess since we were already talking about some features, one other thing is if you had modifiers on your stack, um, make sure you save them. What I mean by that is, like, if we had this, um, which we actually don't want, we want simple. Let me pump it up a little bit. Like if you had something like this, you're gonna want to hit apply, because when you export, anything that was on that stack is not going to actually be exported. So just remember that. You want to make sure you hit apply. But what I like to do is I like to save. I'll save it right before I hit apply, and then I hit apply, export my object, and then I'll close it without saving it. Because if you apply, you can't really get it back off, or at least I haven't figured out a way, unless you hit Control Z. So I just save them all with the modifiers all in the stack, and then I apply them, export, and then delete that file basically. So just quick little tip on that. So now I think we exported it. Yeah. Okay. So now we're going to go to Unity, and then basically just drag and drop. And then in the materials, as you can see, we have our one material. And then we'll drag and drop. And then, you can change the settings, obviously. You guys should know that. And, the max is 2K. So if you're building it for PC and your texture was a 4K or an 8K, you can just override and pick whatever. We don't need that because I think we just did 1K. So then basically, let's get this out here first. And then maybe we can just move it a little bit. Switch the rotation. I'm trying to see how did it look. Like we were looking at it kind of. Okay, so then hit Control Z a few times on this. Okay, so then basically when we hit play, it's just like that. And then your materials, basically all you're going to do is take this and put it in the albedo of your material. And then now I hit play. And then obviously why does it look different? Because the sun obviously is a little bit different. But I mean, I guess, we could adjust it, but that's not really the scope of this tutorial. But basically, that would be how you would export or how you would bake the textures in Blender, and then how you would use those baked textures in Unity. Obviously, you'll have to play around with the lighting then to get it to look the same as the lighting in here. And remember, that's why I told you guys can't do glass, because they're two different engines. So once you play around with the lighting, you can get it almost identical. But basically, that's it for this tutorial. on how to import the baked textures from Blender and use them on a Unity project. So that's it for this tutorial, and thank you for watching.